Welcome. We're so excited that you're here. I'm Lindsey Kirkendall, and this is my good friend,
Leslie Garbis.
And we decided after months and months and months and months of
Indeed.
chatting some more, that we wanted to create a space where we could invite our other creative sisters into a conversation about life and creativity and what that all means as a woman.
Absolutely. And remember your little tagline with a side of
Woo.
a little side of woo-woo.
You
You might already be getting the
Yeah,
gist.
the vibe. Yes, so we are actually, do you want to tell them where we're at really
Yes.
quick?
So we are here in Nashville, Tennessee, specifically the Donaldson area, at Stillhouse Herbal's Apothecary.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the little tea room. And in fact, we are having a cup of herbal coffee.
Yes, I didn't even know this existed until today, so
it's
cheers.
Delicious.
Mhm.
And we're drinking it out of pottery that's sold here, that is by a local artisan, Brooke Gillen. And we'll be sharing some of the groovy stuff that is offered here at the shop, but we thought it was the perfect scene, the perfect setting for our woo-woo.
Yeah.
And our life chats.
In our live chats.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, do you want to start with the card I
I
pulled?
do. So
Okay.
this is our very first episode. One of the things that we wanted to do just to kind of center and
Yeah.
feel like...
Yeah, get that intention going.
Yes.
Get grounded, have a little bit of focus. It's something that I tend to do on the daily is pull a card. So I pulled a card for us. It has
Yes.
our energy in it, and Lindsay's going to
And
read
it
it
was
for
so
you.
awesome. So first of all, it has a lightning bolt on it, so that's just kind of cool as it
Right.
is. And the
Very.
purpose is, it says, to shake stagnation, to electrify your intentions, and to outwardly manifest what is brewing within. And
Brewing.
I was like,
Can we talk about brewing?
yes.
See? Yeah.
And I looked at Leslie and I was like, oh my God, because we have been having these conversations for months, and it's been something that now, with the shift of everything that's happened in the last 6 months in our world, and what that means for the creative, and what that means for entrepreneurs, and what it means especially for artists and musicians and singers. And these conversations have been something that we've been having in our own little friendship world. And it was very profound that the first episode we pulled a card that said, now is the time to outwardly manifest this. So I feel pretty good about what we're doing here today.
Indeed. And on the full moon
And
today.
the full moon, that's right.
Auspicious. Very
Super
cool.
auspicious.
Very
and
cool.
very cool.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
one of the things that we wanted to share with you guys at the beginning of all this is just a little bit of our own personal story. And I know vulnerability was a big topic, I know for you, that we'll probably touch on time and time and time again.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's a big topic just for women in general, especially for women that are creative. And I think it's important for those of you that are creative women, that are musicians or artists or doing things in your careers that maybe feel like you're branching out into the unknown for the first time. It's important to have a safe place and maybe even a couple of good girlfriends that you can trust and be in conversation with.
Always.
And
That's
so
always a good thing.
yeah,
Medicine.
and part of having
It's good
that
medicine.
trust is sharing story. And I know, like, for my clients, the first thing I do is I'm like, I need to know your story. Stories are what shape people's lives, obviously. And it's important for us to understand each other's stories and where we come from in order to be able to build that trust and have that community and have that relationship.
In our world, we are very yang-centric. We are very like, gotta do, gotta show my worth by how much I hustle. I mean, there's times where hustle is possibly a good thing, but I think that you had said it at one point that where you feel like we intersect with what we do professionally is that we like to start from the inside out.
Yeah.
And that's the story piece that you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
That's the inside out. It gives you a sense of where that person is coming from and what they stand for and what they're trying to accomplish. But even better, it gives them a chance to really think about it. We're so used to looking at what's outside, like how do I present?
Yeah.
How do I
optics.
present to the world? What do I sound like? What do I look like? And what you are alluding to is that what is more important than that is why. Like what the why. Why am I here? What do I stand for? What is it I'm trying to convey? So that big holistic piece is something that we have in common.
Absolutely.
Right? With how we deal with our clients.
Yep.
So.
And part of our collective story of how we met, our kids were in a Montessori program together, and that was the tutorial portion of it. And they always say, what's the child's cosmic task in Montessori philosophy? And I thought that was super cool. And I just learned that, actually. My kids have been doing this now for, gosh, my oldest son will be going into the 4th grade, so a while. And I'd never heard that up until a couple weeks ago.
Right.
They have that philosophy about what's this child's cosmic task, and then how do we educate that child around that?
Right.
And I think that's
Help
such a
support
huge,
that.
Exactly. And to your point, like, such a huge piece that is often missing in the life of an entertainer or an artist is that they're not often, and I find this all the time because I ask these questions of my clients and they're like, never thought about that, but we're not often required to think about why we're doing what we're doing.
Right.
We're required to think about maybe what our demographics are, or you know, what do we want our sound to be like?
Yes.
What genre are we in? All important things, but I think they're secondary.
I agree. And a parallel I could make, like when I'm working with a voice student, and oftentimes this is really odd to me, but typical, when I work with a lot of singer-songwriters. And a lot of times they will, you know, present one of their songs to me, and I feel like they're incredibly disconnected. So that idea of connecting to what it is you're trying to fully convey and why, and what makes you you, and how are you showing up, and that inner knowing, you know, interesting.
Yeah, and so just, I guess, briefly, like our story beyond us meeting at school, the way I actually found out who Leslie was, I mean, first of all, she's fucking gorgeous, right?
Oh,
and she has the most, like, intense blue eyes.
You do.
Not like yours. You have pretty blue eyes. I have like gray blue.
Thank you.
And so I was like attracted to that, and I'm like, who is this woman? But I didn't know. And her son's 7th grader this year, or 6th grader?
6th.
So he's a couple years older than my kids. So they were never quite in the same class,
Right.
but it's a small enough community that we were around all at the same time. And we had a Christmas
open
house
fundraiser open
that
house.
Leslie, I guess, led the Christmas caroling.
Right, Christmas caroling.
And I ended up standing next to her-ish. Like, we were within the same, I don't know, there might have been
out
one
on the
person
deck,
in between.
outside.
But there was just this, like, loud as hell singer. And I'm like, someone's pumped about Christmas carols.
I love Christmas carols.
Like, that was it.
I really do.
And then I finally realized it was coming from you. And I was like, oh, it's the lady with the pretty eyes.
And I was probably like jumping down to the alto part and the tenor part.
Oh, yeah,
I love
you
to
were
jump
like
all
doing
around.
all the crazy
I love
shit.
that.
I was
Yeah,
like,
I love
someone's
that.
into this. And unabashedly, too.
Yeah,
like, you were there and you didn't give
yeah.
a fuck.
I'm there. I'm there.
Awesome.
And plus, you know, I'm trying to like, there was a bit of a sober vibe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I'm not exactly that. I'm trying to bring a little bit of, woo, let's get this party started. So yeah, I remember what you're talking about.
Yeah, so that was kind of my first like connection with like, oh, that's that lady. And then we just like started being
Having
able to
some
hang out and
combos.
having some
Yeah,
conversations
just
and
had
realizing
some
we
combos.
really had a lot in common. Our philosophy on life. I realized that she was a vocal instructor at Belmont and also ran a private studio. And the more I learned about her methodology and her philosophy, I was like, oh my God, like you do for your students, your vocal students, what I do for my clients. And it was just really profound. And then I got to actually be a student a couple times, and that was like, okay, this chick knows what she's doing.
That was fun.
It was like the most profound vocal instruction I've ever had.
Because girl can sing too. Just
it was crazy.
BTW, as the kids say.
As the kids say.
You know.
So yeah, but that's kind of how we met. And so we're sharing that with you, obviously, so you get a sense of like why these two chicks are randomly talking, or think they should be randomly talking about life and creativity and art and all this stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, I want it to be entertaining. We both do. We want it to be entertaining and light, but inspiring, and like there's a piece of contribution here.
Yeah.
Like we hope to contribute in some way to help you maybe have some different considerations. Maybe you'll listen to an episode and you'll ponder something. Maybe you'll go be inspired to do some guided meditation. Maybe you are a songwriter and you'll go look at that song you wrote that you've never connected to, and you'll start asking some questions around it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We hope to just have a loving contribution as well as some entertainment value.
And to hopefully help you manifest outwardly
Yep.
what has been brewing within.
Pew! Lightning bolt. Lightning bolt, baby.
So why don't you share a little bit about your story and where you're, and this is the other fun thing, is we're from different coasts. You're a Florida girl, I'm a California girl.
True.
And we met each other in Dixieland.
Yes. Okay, so what's the nugget that I might want to share? So yeah, I am from Florida. You know, I have a son who is in 6th grade. His name is Evan. I'm married to a Greek man whom I met on...
Like a real life Greek man. Like
real
he's
life Greek
from
man.
Greece.
From Greece.
Yeah, not just like, oh, his family's from Greece.
No, he's from Greece.
Yeah.
And we met on a cruise ship. The Love
I don't think I knew
Boat.
that.
Yes, I was singing and dancing on a cruise ship. And it was a Greek line, and he was a wine steward at the time.
Yeah, he was.
Yes, he
that
was.
seems totally apt.
Yes, and many years later, we've been together for almost 25 years, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we were living in different continents, but here we are. She already mentioned that I am a teacher at Belmont University, and I also have my own private studio where I work with a lot of artists and singer-songwriters, and I love it.
Well, that's what I'm curious about. Like, can we talk a little bit about how you went from being a performer to a vocal
Yes, so
teacher, or I guess you really call yourself a technician.
Yeah. I was a professional singer for many years. I have 2 degrees in voice. This is going to blow your mind because I don't know if you know this about me. Undergrad, Belmont University.
Shut up.
You didn't know that, did you? Yeah.
No, what?
I know. It's so weird. It's so weird being back there as a teacher. I'm going into my 6th year.
I'm like,
it's
wait,
crazy.
what?
And I did my master's at University of Miami in Florida. Yeah, so doing a lot of, all the things from recording work to opera to musical theater to review work to cabaret. I mean, just all the things. And really loved it, but I became a mom.
Was that always a part of the plan for you?
No!
Okay.
No.
So did you not think that you wanted to have kids, or did you?
I kind of didn't think I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of didn't think I did. My husband and I moved to New York City, and I was a Pilates instructor there and a vocal teacher at AMDA. Did some singing as well. Not a ton of singing, though. And we ended up having Evan.
But why did you move to New York?
So we moved to New York. It seems like it would be for me, but it wasn't. It was my husband opened up a Krav Maga studio in Midtown. Had a really cool opportunity. And so we did that for a while. We loved our time there. We lived in the Bronx. Anyway, long and short of it, we ended up back in Florida and then back here for me because I had lived here in my 20s. Bought our first house, and I stayed home with Evan for the first 6 years of his life.
Yeah.
I just it was really hard for me because part of your identity when you wrap it up in, well, I'm a singer, I'm a performer, then when you attach to that, just like when we attach to anything, it's really not great for us because it's not who we are.
Right.
It's what we do.
It's what we do.
Right. It's like a little slice. And so there was some definite just depression and just some things I went through around that. But I always would say the stage might miss me a little bit, but my son would really miss me. And it just felt more important to me.
Yeah.
So it's just a choice I made. Not right, not wrong. Just felt right to me at the time. So yeah, stepped away from performing for a long time. So when I had been teaching, I had already been teaching as part of my life though, don't get me wrong. But I thought I didn't think I wanted to go back to being a teacher, to be honest with you. I thought I was just going to reinvent myself or get back to singing more or what have you. I threw my hat in when I heard that the gig came open at Belmont.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was rusty. I had not
Really?
been singing. I had to go get my books out, get an aria together,
Oh, you had to like
audition and have a big interview.
Wow.
And so Evan was starting kindergarten. And I thought, well, this is kind of timely. I do want to...
But you were back in Nashville, or was that the job
We were
that
in
brought
Nashville.
you back?
We were in Nashville already.
So what brought
He
you
went
back
to
to
preschool
Nashville?
here. Like a concentrated effort to get the heck out of South Florida. Because we had gone from New York City going, oh, we have a kid now. Back to South.
So that's like, we can't be in New York
We have a kid now in New York City. Well, New York City's amazing. And I think it would be a really fun place to have a kid.
Yeah.
But we don't have community up there. Well, we had some community, but no family. And not enough bucks. So
you moved to Nashville and you
bought
threw your
a
hat
home.
in.
Yep,
at
started
Belmont.
growing vegetables. After we were here for a few years, the job came open at Belmont, and I actually ended up loving it. When you're a mom, you've changed. You have rebirthed into
You're
a new
woman.
person. You're a new woman, and there's a different set of life experiences and set of just how you carry your heart and how you carry yourself in life. And anyway, I feel like I brought a whole new me into teaching, and I've always felt like I was an effective teacher, but man, now I just like, I feel highly effective, and I'm passionate about it. I love it. I love to contribute. I consider myself also to be incredibly holistic, so honestly a healer as well. It is not atypical for people to cry in their first lesson with me, like in a good way, like something like, "Oh man, you get me."
I can vouch
or
for that.
yes, or just what have you. Some stuff comes up, it gets released, it's ready to go. There's a lot around being a singer. That's a whole other episode. Oh my goodness, right?
I'm so excited you got to share your story with us. Like we
Thank
said at the
you.
beginning, I think stories are profoundly important. If we're starting a new journey and inviting other people into this space, I think it's important that they know who we are.
To get to know us a little bit. Yeah,
So
that's the point.
if you've made it this long, thanks for hanging. We're so excited that you're here. We would love to send you off with a little well wish.
Yes.
Do you want to read the affirmation?
Yeah, go down to the bottom.
Since I read the action, you can read the
Okay.
affirmation.
It's really around setting the intention. I am the lightning bolt. I effect and create the change. Oh, that's so good. I seek actively. I strike down all that stands in the way of my desired results.
And so with that, we want to send you away with a cup of kick-ass.
Cup of kick-ass. It's Monday. Get it done. Have a good one.
Cheers.